Another weekend of high school football in the books, and welcome into the MaxWire. I am Steve Montoya, and we're talking about our football rankings presented by the National Guard. And to do that, we bring in our national football editor, Steve Spiewak. And there you are, Steve. A lot went down in SoCal this weekend, including a couple teams leaving and one new team entering.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. Corona Centennial exiting the rankings after a loss to a Long Beach Poly squad that already had a loss. So tough game for Centennial, but I still believe they have one of the top offenses in the country and one of the best coaching staffs in the country. So don't be surprised if Centennial is back contending for a CIF bowl game. Another team leaving the rankings that could also be in a CIF bowl game this year is Serra. Now, they're actually still undefeated, but they've struggled in their 3 wins, and they just do not look like a top 25 team right now. But I know that with the talent they have, they could certainly work their way back into the mix. And now, team joining the rankings, Modern Day, which in the last 4 or 5 years has kind of been surpassed by the likes of Service, St. John Bosco, Santa Margarita, when you're looking at Trinity League teams that kind of garner the national attention. But I think Bruce Rollison's squad is poised for a strong year this year. He's got quarterback Chase Forrest, a senior, Jonathan Lockett, another senior on the defensive side of the ball. It's an experienced team, a team that was very good last year and brings a lot back from that. So it would not surprise me to see the Monarchs make a really strong push up the rankings this year.
All right, Steve, from Southern California, we go to Florida. And Florida right now seems to be king of high school football with Booker T. Washington at number 1. And then this past Friday, number 3, St. Thomas Aquinas headed to Louisiana and beat a very good John Curtis team 27-13. Curtis was ranked in our top 10, and they snapped Curtis's 29-game win streak. And then, Steve, another team from Florida this week joins the rankings. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Manatee from the west coast of Florida, team that was our preseason number 1 and our number 1 ranked team for much of last year. I think after they lost and were upset in the playoffs last year by Aquinas, they graduated quarterback Cord Sandberg, who did everything for them on offense. I think people expected it to be a bit of a rebuilding year for Manatee. However, the young talent they have has really come on strong, and they have 3 impressive victories to begin the season. They've beaten Gilman from Maryland, they've beaten their rival Venice, and they have a victory over Friendship Collegiate Academy, a very talented program from the Maryland area. So a great start for Manatee, and they could get much better as the season goes along, given their youth on the offensive side of the ball.
Okay, Steve, finally, before you go, there's probably a bunch of teams on your bubble to get into your rankings, and give us one of those teams you think could creep in here in the next few weeks.
A team that continues to impress me, Steve, is Jenks out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is a program that captured the state title last year and by all accounts was the top team in Oklahoma entering this season, and they've done nothing to damage that reputation. In the past 2 weeks, they've defeated Euless Trinity from Texas, and then in their big rivalry backyard bowl, they defeated Union Tulsa, another top program from the state of Oklahoma. So they have 2 impressive wins and back-to-back victories. They didn't make the cut this week, but it's definitely a program on the periphery in terms of having an opportunity to crack the top 25 in the coming weeks.
All right, thanks, Steve, so much. And you can find the full top 25 each and every Monday on the homepage. Our rankings are presented by the National Guard. For Steve Spiewak, I am Steve Montoya. Thanks for joining us here on the MaxWire.